People look at a man in his 60s or 70s who finds himself suddenly single, and they assume his story is effectively over. They think late-life divorce leaves a senior man broken, bitter, financially depleted, and quietly waiting out his remaining years in regret. They believe that after decades of building a career, maintaining a household, and accumulating a nest egg, starting over at 60 or 70 is an insurmountable tragedy. They assume an older man in that position will either retreat into isolated despair or make foolish, impulsive decisions, chasing youthful vanity, buying expensive toys he doesn't need, or panic investing in high-risk schemes to make back what was lost. But they do not understand the mind of a wise senior man. A man grounded in character and tempered by experience does not view late-life divorce as the destruction of his life. He views it as a profound, albeit painful, reset. He knows that while a court judgment may divide physical assets, houses, and bank accounts, it cannot touch his integrity, his discipline, or his capacity for peace. His choices in this new season are not driven by fear, bitterness, or a desperate need to prove himself to the world. They are guided by decades of perspective. He knows that his net worth may have changed overnight, but his self-worth remains entirely within his own hands. How does a senior man rebuild his life, his finances, and his inner tranquility when the structure he spent 30 or 40 years building is suddenly dismantled? How does he wake up every morning, look at a smaller home and an altered financial ledger, and still walk forward with quiet confidence and unshakable dignity? The answer lies in the daily routine of a financially disciplined Stoic man. When the storm of late-life divorce clears, the immediate reality can feel disorienting. The quiet in an empty house can sound deafening. The financial reality, seeing a retirement portfolio halved after decades of labor, can trigger a deep, visceral anxiety. It is in precisely these moments that timeless philosophy shifts from abstract theory into an essential survival strategy. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, facing political betrayal, plague, and the weight of an empire, wrote a simple reminder in his private journal: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Notice what he did not say. He did not say you have power over the court's final ruling. He did not say you have power over another person's choices, the division of pension funds, or the opinions of former in-laws. Those things belong to the world outside your control. To waste your remaining energy wishing the past were different is to invite voluntary suffering into your present. The Roman Stoic Seneca offered an equally profound truth to his friend Lucilius when speaking of sudden financial reversals. He loses nothing who has himself. When a senior man loses half of his financial assets, he has not lost half of his manhood. He has not lost his wisdom, his work ethic, his ability to appreciate a quiet morning, or his power to choose his next step. The primary task of a senior man rebuilding his life is to draw a clear, uncompromising line down the center of his mind. On one side are the things that happened, the legal proceedings, the divided property, the shared history now concluded. On the other side is his response, his daily routine, his financial boundary setting, his peace, and his purpose. He refuses to spend his 70s reliving his 60s. He accepts reality as it is, not as he wished it had been, and begins the noble work of building anew. To rebuild wisely, a man must understand the psychological traps that often derail men in financial transitions. Modern behavioral finance frequently highlights a powerful human tendency known as loss aversion. Psychological research shows that the emotional pain of losing something, whether it is a home, status, or half a retirement fund, is roughly twice as intense as the joy of gaining that same amount. When a senior man experiences a severe financial loss late in life, loss aversion triggers an immediate, dangerous instinct, the urge to take reckless risks, to get back to even. It is the mental trap that drives men into speculative investments, high-yield promises, or desperate business ventures in their 60s. They feel they are running out of time, so they sprint toward danger. Federal Reserve studies on consumer finances consistently demonstrate that late-life financial disruptions, often called gray divorce, require a deliberate shift from wealth accumulation to radical capital preservation and expense management. The wise senior man understands this psychology. He He recognizes the panic for what it is, a temporary emotional reaction, and he refuses to let panic handle his money. He sits down at his desk with absolute honesty. He looks at his revised financial numbers without judgment or shame. He knows that chasing fast returns to rebuild a former balance sheet is how men lose the other half of their freedom. Instead, he embraces what psychologists call delayed gratification and the reduction of ego depletion. He simplifies his life immediately. He realizes that much of what he spent money on in his past life was designed to maintain appearances, support a sprawling household, or satisfy external expectations. Now, he answers only to himself and to his principles. He takes comfort in a fundamental Stoic truth. Real wealth begins where the need to impress ends. He does not need a massive square footage to live a grand life. He does not need expensive automobiles to move with dignity. By intentionally lowering his lifestyle overhead, he instantly increases his financial runway. He discovers that reducing his monthly expenses by $2,000 creates the exact same financial freedom as adding $500,000 to his portfolio without taking on a single shred of market risk. How does this philosophy manifest in the practical, daily habits of a rebuilt senior man? It is not marked by grand, dramatic gestures, but by quiet, repeatable disciplines. 1. The peaceful morning audit. His day begins early, before the world demands his attention. He does not begin his morning by checking headlines, opening financial apps, or looking at social media. He understands that immediate input creates immediate anxiety. Instead, he brews his coffee or tea in silence. He sits in a comfortable chair with a journal. He writes down 3 things: what he controls today, what he must let go of today, and what simple tasks will move his life forward. He reviews his cash flow, not with anxiety, but with the calm attention of a deliberate caretaker. He knows where every dollar goes. A quiet bank account is often stronger than a loud lifestyle. He protects his remaining retirement income with total discipline, knowing that maintaining financial independence in his 70s and 80s is his highest gift to himself and his adult children. 2. Downsizing with dignity. Rebuilding after divorce almost always involves changing one's living arrangements. Where an undisciplined man sees a painful step down, the Stoic senior man sees an upgrade in freedom. Psychologists talk about the endowment effect, our tendency to overvalue physical objects simply because we own them. We hold on to large homes, furniture, and accumulated possessions long after they stop serving us, turning our living spaces into physical monuments of the past. The wise senior man downsizes intentionally. He chooses a smaller, manageable space, a quiet apartment, a modest condo, or a simple cottage. As he sells or donates furniture and belongings from his previous life, he feels lighter, not poorer. He is not stripping away his identity, he is shedding friction. He recognizes that a smaller home requires less maintenance, lower property taxes, less insurance, and zero wasted energy. He chooses space over stuff, and simplicity over clutter. 3. Establishing ironclad emotional and financial boundaries. Late-life divorce often reverberates through the broader family network. Adult children may feel caught in the middle, confused, or inadvertently demanding. Uncles, cousins, or friends may offer unsolicited advice or ask for financial assistance, assuming the senior man needs to shuffle funds around. Here, the senior man exercises a vital Stoic discipline, the art of the calm, guilt-free no. When an adult child asks for a financial bailout or an irresponsible loan that compromises his streamlined retirement budget, he does not respond with anger or defensive explanations. He responds with gentle firmness. He says, "I love you, and I am always here to offer you my wisdom, my time, and my support. But my financial boundaries are set, and I cannot extend loans or co-sign agreements." The wisest senior men protect their peace before they protect their pride. He refuses to enter into financial arguments or justify his spending choices to anyone. He keeps his personal finances private, knowing that silence is the ultimate fortress of financial security. 4. Resisting the hedonic trap. In the months following a divorce, the temptation to engage in retail therapy or dramatic lifestyle upgrades is immensely strong. Behavioral scientists call this hedonic adaptation, the reality that bought pleasures provide a brief spike in happiness before returning us to our baseline emotional state, leaving us with less money and the same internal quiet. When a senior man sees younger men or peers chasing luxury cars, expensive wardrobes, or extravagant vacations to signal success, he smiles quietly and passes by. The richest senior men rarely feel the need to prove they are rich. He spends intentionally. He spends money on high-quality, healthy food, comfortable walking shoes, books that expand his mind, and modest travel that enriches his soul. He values experiences that bring lasting contentment over possessions that demand insurance and maintenance. 5. Cultivating purposeful daily work retirement, or single life without structure, is dangerous for a man of experience. Without a daily mission, the mind turns inward, dwelling on old regrets and forgotten grievances. The rebuilt senior man designs his days around meaningful effort. He may not work 40 hours a week for an employer, but he works every day for his own growth. He dedicates hours to physical strength, walking miles every afternoon, lifting moderate weights, maintaining his flexibility and mobility. He knows that his health is his ultimate asset. Without it, all financial discipline is meaningless. He engages in practical mentorship. He volunteers his skills, teaches young apprentices, reads deeply, or takes up craftsmanship, woodworking, gardening, writing, or cooking nourishing meals from scratch. Retirement is not the end of purpose. It is the reward for a life of discipline. As the senior man settles into his new routine, a remarkable transformation occurs. The initial pain of loss fades, replaced by a quiet, solid clarity he may not have felt in decades. He realizes that for years, much of his energy was consumed by compromise, overhead, financial strain, and societal expectations. Now his life is distilled down to its essential elements. He looks at his daily budget and sees not scarcity, but total control. He isn't afraid of losing money. He refuses to become controlled by it. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us today on Senior Stoic Wealth. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What is the greatest financial or life lesson late life transitions have taught you? What is the one boundary you refuse to compromise to protect your peace today? Your experiences and wisdom may be the exact words another brother needs to read today. If you found value in this message, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another senior man who values wisdom, dignity, and quiet strength over status. Until next time, seek wisdom, protect your peace, leave a legacy,